All right, full order.
Waste department supervisor.
I gotta work on that.
What?
Call to order, please.
Yeah, I don't have to pay.
Steve Machowski,
Here.
Ed Nason,
Here.
Gary Ciccaroni,
Here.
Rick Charette,
Here.
Jim Freeman,
Here.
Clifton Camp, Charlotte Coleman, Rob Collins,
Here.
Ed Como,
Here.
we have no members of business.
George, I have not been sworn in yet.
Yes.
Virginia was busy, so as soon as she's freed up, I can do that.
Okay.
Gary, too.
Okay, have you been sworn in?
Not yet.
His would carry over until we get our attendance. It has to be immediate.
Well, so what do we do in this case? Leave, I think, yeah? Go over and sit out there.
I don't think you can sit on the board until you're sworn in.
I think,
Oh, sure.
I think you're on the board until you swear in the new people. You vote the new officers and things. That's the change. I think that's how we did it before.
Well, it's a gray
Doesn't
area.
matter.
I don't think it's that
See,
critical.
actually, technically, your term was up at
Yeah.
the town meeting. And if you had gotten beaten, you wouldn't be sitting on the board until the new person filled in, you just wouldn't be here. So,
I guess it's true.
Wouldn't that be a position for the chair to decide on until
yeah, you guys can do what you want.
Will the chair swear in?
I think that people, if there's people that have been sworn in, have not been sworn in, that are voting on motions or making motions, then the meeting is...
I don't think they, honestly, they shouldn't participate.
Yeah.
Oh,
until
they
they're
should
sworn
be voting on
How about sworn in?
in. Sworn at, we can do that.
Not until Virginia's
Well,
free.
Maybe you could speak kindly to the
why don't I go
get in
to
there.
announcements and correspondence mail. Now, to the top of the list, I have at the bottom of the file here, it's a resignation letter from Charlotte Coleman. So I no longer will be available as an alternate to Brookfield Planning Board, and that's dated March 22nd. So we could, do we have to vote on that, or just accept it as is? I'm not sure of the procedure.
I don't think what we've got to say has anything to do with her resignation.
No.
Yeah, she just
We have to
resigned.
move to accept it, don't we?
I'm sure our rules of procedure says something.
I don't know. And if we don't accept it, she's still here?
Motion to accept?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I can't vote.
Opposed. It's, was a motion to accept Charlotte Coleman's resignation from alternate. Okay.
regrettably, I would vote yea.
So that's that.
Mr. Chairman, use the second one, please.
I believe I second.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I don't, so I'm not, okay, so as a member of the public, interested in making sure this meeting is any good, I'm not, I didn't, did it happen, I just didn't hear it, that Ed was seated on the board?
I'm sorry.
There's been
Correct, I was not.
He's an alternate that can sit in for me because I'm not sworn in.
Okay.
You're right, I didn't know I had to be appointed.
That's right, I'm still an alternate.
Yeah.
I'm still an alternate, because that term was not. So, anyway, I think we need to be, we should appoint alternates first, before.
Right, now, who is, you were voted in as on a write-in for, so, but you said your term as an alternate is not up.
That's my understanding.
Correct.
Okay, so,
George, is that, do you have the list of which years everyone is, right? Was I up as an alternate?
This year?
So I'm not even sure. I believe I have one more year.
No, we have until 2014.
okay.
That's a long time.
You turned the heat on. Right, so, yeah, we'll sit in for Gary.
Rob can be me.
Rob could sit in for Gary until
Virginia's so free.
right.
Technically, I guess he could sit in for himself.
Yeah.
It's a little weird, but I think it's he isn't breaking any more chairs.
No, I would say Rob.
Oh.
That's right.
So, do we have to do, we don't have to do anything more about Charlotte's resignation. That's fine. There's a letter from Lordman Educational Services, and there's some a workshop. If anybody's interested, the information will be up here on the table. And we have a Department of Environmental Services, and this is another workshop, and they have the agenda posted. It's on drinking water and septic systems, if anyone's interested in that. And Lakes Region Housing Coalition. Tom Varney, Varney Engineering, and John Swain, and Chris Boris of Capital Well Clean Water Center will be speaking at a seminar, and sandwiches, chips, and soda will be provided for anybody's interested in that. And that one's Wednesday, March 28th. So that's next 2 days. So
Where is it held?
this is at Molten Borough Town Hall, if anyone's interested. And that's that.
Yeah, you got your own wastewater thing too, don't you? You got your own wastewater plant too?
Well, we have a little sway with one.
Oh, yeah.
And local government center people sent out a brochure on some dates and stuff on workshops. That's available. Town and city, the usual propaganda. That's it for correspondence or if there's any announcements that anybody has to bring up or would like to bring up. If not, then we'll move on.
Actually, I got one.
Okay.
It's a small one. The police are over here Saturday. And they're gonna distribute, and I don't know if they're gonna distribute them Saturday, but they're gonna work on a little workshop, and everybody's invited to a coffee about neighborhood watch signs and that kind of business to distribute around the town. They're doing that at 9 a.m. Saturday morning next door. So if you want to get involved in the neighborhood watch business and have a sign put near your property, the police will be over there talking about it.
They let you carry a sidearm?
Yep. This is your neighborhood watch guy.
You just shoot anyone who's wearing a hoodie?
You get a badge?
I don't know, but you can camp out in a tent and everything, just like they did in Times Square,
Down in New
Central
York.
Park.
Is Chief Fifield running there? Is Chief Fifield running there?
I don't know which officer's gonna be here, but he may be. It's hard to say.
It's gonna be here.
Yes, it's a townhouse.
And is that something the police are organizing, or is that something that's...
Something organized within the town, but the police support, they work with the town. I'm not the organizer of it, I'm
You
just...
don't know who the local individual is, do you?
Yeah, I do. One of them is Judy Brenner, another one is,
Okay.
there's 2 or 3 folks involved in it. Oh, I can't, I think maybe Jen McGowan, I'm not sure, but I think her, and somebody else, but anyway,
Okay.
and the police.
And the police. All right, public comments. Opportunities for the public will be provided at this time to discuss by show of hands and recognizing by the chair as long as it's doing well. Will not interrupt the meeting. Public comments on anything? No.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I do want to remind you that there had been somebody who had approached me previously concerning being put on the agenda for new business, concerning questions about having a business in the town.
Okay. We could do that now, public comments. Is that person here?
How you doing? My name is Sean Eldridge. I live at 501 Wentworth Road, just up the road, short distance. Looking to start a gunsmithing business out of my home. I work in law enforcement. I'm a certified law enforcement officer for the last 12 years now out of Brentwood, Rockingham County. Been living up here roughly 9 years. Gunsmithing has been a little trade that I've always been doing. Now I've been certified through a college, looking to make it a little bit of a profit off it. I've already worked with ATF. ATF was over last week, inspecting my area. On the federal side of it, I'm good to go. I need to come in front of you folks in regards to getting authorization to conduct gunsmithing from my home. The way the gunsmithing license works through it's my FFL, Federal Firearms License. It covers as kind of a catch-all for gunsmithing, to work on them, refurbish, mounting scopes and anything like that, and also it covers also sales. Do I potentially like to do some sales? I will probably do some sales, but I'm not looking at making it look like Kittery trading posts. I do not have the financial background to store that much weapons for people to come in and look at. Pretty much sales, what I'll do is if somebody's looking for something and they know what they want, I can order it from them through a catalog. Comes in, call them, they come get it. I'm not looking to have I guess you could say, a large flow of traffic. Just looking at trying to move forward with what I've taken on for college courses and continuing a career out of it, I guess you could say.
Okay. Very good.
Someone could order firearms and send them to you and receive them?
Yes.
Through you?
Yes. Yes. If someone was down in Florida, per se, hypothetically speaking yourself, you're down there, you want to purchase a long gun down there, something you can't travel back with or fly back with. Dealer to dealer shipments. They can ship it to me as under my federal firearms license, authorize me to do that. That's one of the catch-alls for the FFL.
Right.
Have you read our ordinances?
Excuse me?
Have you read the ordinances of Brookfield on home-based business?
I have not. I haven't got the full copy on it. I've gotten a little bit of literature from my neighbor Diane.
You should look at it.
I just look at it.
Leave him hanging. There was a lot of silence up here.
Art, what exactly are you looking? Are you looking for a letter? Do you need for your applications? Do you need a letter from somebody?
The ATF officer, Steve Broden, if I pronounce his name correctly, he's basically has to contact the code enforcement of the town itself and saying, yeah, he's okay with doing it. And that's the only hold up at this point for the permit to be sent to. I've made a couple of calls to Dawn and also Paul Landry, is that the name right? Could be wrong with the last name.
You called me on Saturday, I think.
Well, it would have been Friday, probably.
Was it? I
You
thought
know
it was. What
Are
time?
you the code enforcer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I left a voicemail for you.
Yes.
Contact me.
Yep.
I've also spoken to the city clerk here, the town clerk rather, and in regards to it on direction what to do. Just looking basically for the okay. Yes, it's okay to be done. I'm not looking at building a new structure. I already have a structure in place. I'm not looking for rezoning anything. So I'm not, like I said, what's already there is I'm just going to work on it. That's all.
You can do it out of your house or an outbuilding.
I have a building that's attached to the house. It's the house, the garage, and then an attached workshop that's already there. It's already.
There's a lot of home-based businesses in this town of that stature in existence now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the dentist office. A gentleman up the road here that does car detailing, stuff like that.
Any,
Depends on the cottage industry.
I was gonna say,
Absolutely.
6 by 6 square foot sign?
Yep, 2 by
Maximum?
3.
2 by 3 maximum
2 by 3
sign.
double-sided sign.
Is what I'm allowed to put up?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And as long as it's contained within your house and your residence.
The FFL only covers me to sell within my house or work within my house, or at gun shows, which gun shows wouldn't affect the town program. That's it.
Could I suggest to the chair that we have to have a talk with George as far as making the copies of the ordinances available to him so that he can be fully aware of them?
Do we have, we should have some already available, right?
Yes, I do. Give that, and also it's on the internet right now. But
Okay.
I'd be happy to give you a copy, sir.
Yeah.
I would appreciate that.
Are you going to set up any kind of provisions for, let's say, handgun firing?
Sales
Like
fire-
a range for handgun?
I'm not looking at making a firearms range, no,
Okay.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Now, test firing a firearm, would I go down back on my property and make sure
Yeah,
I get
it
repairs
works.
for you work? Yes, I would do that. I have 5 acres of land behind my house. My backyard is basically tumble down dick in Moose Mountain.
Yeah.
Send my neighbor.
So I don't think that the planning board has anything to say about this. I think maybe he's at the wrong board, right? This would be something for a code enforcement officer who works for the selectmen. The selectmen are responsible for enforcing the zoning, right? And I don't think there's anything in our zoning or rules of procedure that would say that we would have any say in this. We may advise the selectmen, they may ask for our advice,
Right.
but I think that, maybe you have some thoughts on this. It seems like this is a selectman issue.
Yeah, well,
not
I
a
don't even
planning
know if
board.
it's a selectman. He's wanting to do something that is, in my eyes, is very clear that is acceptable in this town.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that.
So,
Where
just,
does- where
Right, but
does
if he needed a
also
letter-
No employees?
But if he needed a letter for an
I've
application.
provided
so that-
letters for people
then-
too.
Right, okay,
Yep.
so it would be the selectmen, not us, I think, that would write that letter.
Well, I would-
You as their agent,
Yep.
right?
That should fall under cottage industry as long as he's following state and federal regulations.
I think-
But he's, based on what we've gone over with that, he's well within the limits.
Absolutely.
So I don't see a problem as to what we've discussed in the last 6 months on cottage industries. So I think us as a planning board, we could probably just say go ahead to the next step would be through the code officer.
Now, would the board be willing to accept the recommendation of the code officer in case he needs that for his licensing?
I don't
I
think
don't
it's a
think
board
so.
issue.
The only
It
Just
shouldn't-
in case, I'm just wondering as
Yeah.
far as his protection, make sure he's able to operate as
That should be
ordinance requires.
strictly through the code officer, right? Is that what they required you to get some information on from, instead of the planning board?
You said somebody's looking for a,
The ATF officer, what he did today is he contacted here, he
Yeah.
actually spoke to Virginia, she gave him another number, it was Paul, either Landry or Lambert, something along that, I actually have his number on it.
huh, I don't know anybody.
Sean, did they request specifically a letter from the
They're
board?
just looking at, yeah, it's okay, basically, good to go.
If they didn't vote
When I
on it,
spoke to Steve again this evening, he said, well, if you guys want to contact him at any time, by all means, I'll give you his cell phone number now. And you can contact him at any time to even say, yeah, we're good to go.
Now, are you around this week?
I work second shift, 3 to 11. I work Tuesday through Saturday, but I'm always home during the mornings, well, except for tomorrow, I have to actually go to Cheshire County to do
Yep, we're sworn.
with my department tomorrow.
Come in at
Rob is now.
about 9 o'clock Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, I will be here.
Okay.
Tom, want to be an alternate?
No. I do want to turn in my keys though. Who got like a chair?
Nobody
Not yet.
Nobody
We've
yet.
been stalling.
We haven't gotten there yet.
All right.
I'd say he's good to go.
I think so.
You know, no, I think so.
You do an action job on 1894?
Excuse me?
You do an action job on 1894?
I can.
You got a sticky one.
I think that's a great home business.
Yeah.
I think that's a nice addition to the town and.
Well, my grandfather used to do gunsmithing years ago out of Dover, New Hampshire. So, yeah, off on 6th Street in Dover, I'm not sure.
What's his name?
Don was his first name.
Same last name?
Eldridge, yeah.
Eldridge?
No relation to the Eldridges in the area. Everybody asks me that. When we first moved up here, that was one of the first.
You wouldn't have gotten the license.
How long have you been here? How long have you been here?
9 years now.
Want to be a planning board alternate?
Oh, God. You can't ask, you're not even on the board yet.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm
He's-
sworn in.
He's just sworn in.
Yeah.
I would have to look into what that requirements were, what I'd be required of before I
You have
jump
to carry
into something like that.
We can explain it to you.
I would suggest we have our code enforcement check into the matter, and if there's a letter needed from the board, that
Well,
we move.
code
forward.
enforcement is through the selectmen, right?
Yeah.
So he's handling it on his own, and the planning board is basically just giving a vote of confidence. And I think that's
I would support that.
sufficient. That's all we can do legally, I think, because,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it is on their end of it. Okay?
So Thursday morning, 9 a.m., sir?
Yep.
All right, I'll be here. What is your last name again?
Nason,
Nason, Don Nason?
Eddie.
Eddie. Okay, Ed Nason.
Oh, Don.
You're Don. I thought I heard someone say Don.
I don't think there's no Don in here, is there?
Is it?
No doubt.
Wow. That's my
I've always liked Don, his name.
All right, I will also give Steve the ATF agent.
Sure.
Your name
My
and
cell
contact
phone,
number.
yep, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Have a great day.
That's it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very much so.
Okay, review of the,
Can I point of order here?
Yeah.
We have a notice that's scheduled a hearing for 6:30. We're already running late
Okay.
because of the
okay,
swearing in, so I think we need to go to that hearing.
okay.
Another point of order, before we do that, we probably should reshuffle the board and get Gary on, right, he's sworn in there. So George sees it, make sure, noted in the minutes that, you know, at what point
Okay,
the constitution of the board shifts around.
Right.
I have been leaving at 6:48 and returning at 6:50, so if that's okay.
sounds good to me. Okay, so you want to go to your public hearing for concerning the trimming of trees in the scenic roads as contracted by PSNH. There's a sign-in sheet for the general public at the public hearing.
Yeah, that would be Tom.
That would be Tom.
Generally in public.
Are you in the meeting, or you're waiting for the, okay.
Bring a 3-ring binder.
Maybe if Joyce has comments, you will have to sign it. If you may be
Do I
interested.
have to sign in for this public
It's
hearing?
for tree trimming for PSNH.
No.
Yeah, say something. Oh, okay.
This is for public.
All right. Do we get to talk on this?
Questions or rude remarks they want to check in.
Well,
Okay, the public hearing will be held at the Brookfield Town Buildings at 267 Wentworth Road, Brookfield, on March 26, 2012, at 6:30 PM, concerning the trimming of trees by, how do you pronounce that?
Asplund.
Asplund Tree Experts, as contracted by PSNH on the following scenic road: Moose Mountain Road, Tumble Down Dick, and Lyford Road. Now, do you want to speak on that?
Certainly, yes. During a typical year, trees are responsible for 50% of all our outages.
Yes.
Public Service would request approval from the board to trim and remove trees and brush along the scenic roads, as mentioned in the town of Brookfield. Trees will be cleared below, along, and above the conductors to reduce the chance of tree-related power outages. Our trimming specification calls for the removal of limbs that are 8 feet to the side, 10 feet below and 15 feet above our wires. Approximately 25 trees have been identified as potentially hazardous trees, and we would like to target their removal along the scenic roads that were mentioned. If the board does not have any objections, impacted landowners will be notified prior to the removal of any trees near their property. The work is scheduled to start within the next week or so once we can get down the road safely. It should take about 2 to 3 weeks to complete.
Okay.
Yes?
Gary?
I may be missing some things here, but what is your purpose here tonight?
In order for us to trim or remove on a scenic road, we have to petition the board. We have to have the board's approval.
I see. And do you expect to get that approval tonight?
Yes.
Do we have any way of identifying what trees and whose property they are? Do you have a list of that?
I submitted a list probably about 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was
all the trees
quite a while
are
ago.
identified. They're marked with a pink ribbon, and they are listed.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Would this include trees that affect wires that go from the poles to the houses?
No, we do not have a regular maintenance program for the wires that go from the pole to the house. That's a different type of wire. It is a covered wire, and we don't have a regular maintenance program for that.
You're just primaries?
No, that would be a service wire. The trees, the wires that run along Tumble Down Dick, Moose Mountain, those are all primaries.
That's what I meant.
Tom?
Is it okay for me to ask a question at this point?
You can do whatever you want.
This is going to sound really stupid, but is it too late to ask about a specific tree?
Is it on a scenic road?
Yeah, I live at 65 Moose Mountain Road, which is one of the scenic roads, and I know you guys come along every
4 years.
Every 4 years to do this, and the last time around, there were 2 trees that, I've only been here 5.5 years and didn't really know what the procedure was, but there are these 2 big old pine trees that scare the heck out of me. One of them, I don't know, they've got to be 60 to 70 feet tall. One of them is right at the corner of my property. I don't think it was one of the ones that was flagged, because I've seen your flags on the trees. And then there's another one that's further up the property line. Both of them overhang one of them is the trunk is very close to the wires. And in a certain situation, it could obviously fall down and squish everything. And the other one, it's in a very peculiar location where the property across the street has direct wind, and it makes this tree whip back and forth. Now, it doesn't have a lot of branches, but it has a serious overhang far way up high, and it's a pine. And they tend to be a little softer and easier to break.
Especially when they're not in groups.
Yeah, I mean, and this one is kind of exposed. Is there any way at this point to request some trees be looked at for consideration?
I can certainly meet you and take a look at them. Their removal would have to be then approved by the board. Right, that's the only limiting factor. But I'd be happy to come out and take a look at them with you. I do have 4 large pines identified on Moose Mountain Road.
Yeah.
Sometimes the flagging tape gets removed, gets lost, but I'd be happy to come out and take a look at it.
One thing I had a question about. I know in our particular situation, I've talked with our welfare agent about this. We do have wood that we set aside for the needy in town, and they're getting more and more of those. I was wondering if the board might address and try to collect volunteers, if we could get contact on any hardwoods and suitable firewood to be able to go out, split and cut these trees and accumulate a larger quantity so we can help to offset what we have for fuel assistance for those in town. I'd like to see if the board would see to find volunteers to address that.
Eddie?
That wood's been out there for 3 years now. We've had 1 person dip into it. It hasn't been well received by participants.
Has been commonly announced.
The welfare officer's known about it.